a century-old curse tied to a forest of lost souls, returns to haunt one family, and only a trip into a realm of ghosts and monsters can bring their kidnapped little sister back. We open in 1825 with a woman fleeing through a ruined village while clutching her newborn baby, praying desperately as danger closes in behind her. Forced into a river to escape, she's spotted by British soldiers who open fire without hesitation, striking her hand and causing the to slip from her grip and vanish into the current. Later, grief-stricken and clutching what appears to be her recovered child, she storms into the village temple, screaming accusations of betrayal at the goddess she devoted her whole life to, before hurling the baby straight into the sacred fire. Horrified villagers rush to beat her for the act, only to realize the baby was never real to begin with. As flames rapidly consume the temple, the woman, now completely unhinged, destroys everything in her path and vows revenge on the entire village before the fire finally swallows her whole. The story then jumps to 1976 at a large farmhouse where a young girl named Yi is having her loose tooth pulled by her older brothers Yak and Yos, while her pregnant older sister Yad has just returned home. Their mother has the tooth tossed onto the roof for tradition's sake, and after a warm family lunch spent guessing whether Yad's baby will be a boy or girl, Yak and Yad quietly discuss their late sister Yam, who died in the previous film. That midnight, an unseen demonic hand secretly steals the tooth right off the roof. The next day at school, Yi is startled by an eerie sound in the science lab and finds herself trapped as classroom doors swing open on their own and the exit seals shut behind her. A female ghost appears before her, and by the time her three brothers arrive after hearing her screams, Yak breaks through to find Yi trapped inside a glass box, being strangled by the spirit. The moment he shatters the glass, the ghost vanishes, but Yi immediately turns violent, grabbing broken glass to attack her own brother, revealed to now be possessed. The school's gardener, also possessed, blocks the other siblings from entering, while Yi and the gardener overpower Yak together. And even as he burns his own hand with a lighter just to stay conscious against the ghost's hypnotic whispering, Yi calmly blows the flame out and Yak finally collapses. The ghost disappears with Yi in tow. Back home, their mother pleads for Yi's safe return. Pan suggests contacting their deceased sister Yam through a Ouija board for answers. The siblings gather around it, and after confirming Yam's presence, they ask where Yi has been taken, spelling out the name of an unfamiliar place, Bong Sanadong. Before the session can continue, the glass spins wildly out of control, injuring everyone except Yak, who holds on until a horrifying woman's face appears and shatters the glass entirely, pulling Yak into a vision of Japanese soldiers marching through a forest and into a cave filled with corpses, where the same spectral woman later reveals herself and tells him that saving Yi means coming to that very cave himself. Back in reality, Pan uses her own sacred necklace to revive her unconscious brother. The next morning, Yak and Pan set out for Bong Sanadong, described as a place meant only for spirits and monsters, not the living. Meanwhile, Yi wakes inside a skeleton-filled cave and flees deeper into the forest. When Yak discovers his two younger brothers stowed away in the jeep, sent by their father to help, the group presses on together, only to be dragged underwater by unseen forces while crossing a river, forcing Yak to fight off an attacking ghost with a knife, while Pan uses a sacred talisman to summon a protective water spirit that drives the rest away. Safely across, they continue deeper into the forest with no clear destination in sight. Elsewhere, Yi is chased by two terrifying female ghosts, narrowly fighting one off with a rock before biting free of the other's grip. Believing she's found safety after colliding with what looks like Yak, she quickly realizes it's actually a ghost wearing his face, and after stabbing it with a log to no effect, she flees straight back into the very cave she'd originally escaped, where the same horrifying old woman from Yak's vision awaits, and an unseen force drags her inside once more. That night, the group finally reaches a remote village, met by a woman named Yakin and a man named Kongmu, who explain the area's dark history 80 years earlier. A powerful evil spirit slaughtered the village's young women until a monk managed to seal it inside a coffin hidden deep within a cave, warning that it must never be disturbed. The seal held until 1942, when invading Japanese soldiers forced villagers into brutal labor. A shaman named Mai, consumed by grief and rage, ultimately released the sealed spirit as a weapon against their oppressors, only for it to turn on the very villagers who freed it, sparing only Mai herself. The villagers came to call this entity Dao, a spirit whose haunting whisper traps the living in a trance. That evening, Yak wanders off after hearing Yi's voice calling from the forest, only to find himself lured toward what looks like his sister, sitting by a headstone, her eyes bleeding, revealing she isn't truly herself. Before he can act, he's suddenly buried alive inside a coffin, and the others barely manage to dig him back out after spotting his hand bursting through the soil. Back at the farmhouse, Yad wakes to find Yi's demonic form crawling toward her, asking chillingly if it can take the baby growing inside her. Yad fires a warning shot that makes the apparition vanish, but the whispering that follows leaves her unconscious anyway. The next morning, the group enters the cursed forest itself, warned that ordinary talismans and spells are useless here, with sacred bells tied to trees serving as the only early warning system against approaching danger. Not long after entering, Yos wanders off, chasing what he believes is Yi, and quickly finds himself separated from the group, only to run into the shaman Mai herself. While the others search for him, they discover his bell abandoned on the ground, and soon, their remaining bells all ring at once, signaling ghosts known as Pong Kong closing in. Immune to bullets but vulnerable to fire, the group fights them off one by one, using torches, fire arrows, and burning cloth, until Yas wanders toward a nearby stream to clean a wound and discovers his missing brother's corpse floating in the water, only for it to suddenly reanimate and drag him under as well, leaving nothing behind but his bag and bell. The remaining group reaches the cave from Yak's earlier vision, and inside Yak gets separated from the others, while chasing what looks like Yi, accompanied only by Yakin. Together they battle a pair of monstrous snakes, each hiding a woman's severed head that keeps regenerating no matter how many times it's cut down, eventually escaping deeper into the cave where they find Yad, Yi, Yas, and their other companions bound and trapped in a trance at the exact site where Dao was originally awakened. Just as they begin freeing everyone, Yi stops Yak, and Yas suddenly attacks him, revealing that all three, Yas, Yad, and Yi, are still fully possessed. Yak wakes bound and for Mai herself, who stabs him and explains her plan. Having been granted new purpose by Dao, she intends to use its power to grant her people immortality. Believing the spirit was never destroyed, only put to sleep, she reveals she's the one who secretly stole Yi's tooth to mark her as the vessel, and drops it into a ritual bowl alongside Yak's own blood, explaining that awakening Dao fully requires blood from the one who once defeated it. Finally, she turns to Yad's pregnant belly, intending to sacrifice the unborn child to restore Dao's full power, pouring the ritual mixture into a small pool that begins rippling open like a gateway straight into the underworld. Just as Dao begins rising from the depths, Pan arrives and shoots Mai, interrupting the ritual and forcing the spirit back down. As the group scrambles, Yakin frees Yak, and a brutal fight erupts against the shape-shifting snake ghosts. Amid the chaos, Yak manages to kill one of them before it can seize the new. While Pan explains their sacred bells are actually loaded with mercury, the only substance capable of destroying Dao permanently. Though only one bullet remains before they can regroup, the second ghost reappears and kills both Kongmu and Yakin in quick succession, vanishing without a trace, right as their bodies mysteriously disappear as well. Yad finally goes into labor and gives birth to a healthy baby boy. Overwhelmed with joy at the birth, the group barely has time to celebrate before Mai's own body crumbles to dust, sacrificed entirely to fully awaken Dao, who immediately stabs Pan through the stomach with a monstrous hand. Yak's gun jams when he tries to fight back, and Dao magically knocks the knife from his hand into a nearby puddle of birth fluid as her hypnotic whisper begins dragging everyone toward unconsciousness. The spirits of Yakin and Kongmu briefly return to resist her, but both are ultimately destroyed in the attempt. Yakin's ghost manages to reveal one crucial detail before vanishing, that the birth water itself carries the power of new life, capable of destroying evil entirely. Grabbing the knife now soaked in that same birth water, Yak stabs Dao, finally causing her real pain. And as the last surviving ghost returns to help her, Yos finishes it off with the final mercury bullet. With Dao weakened, Yak presses one of the sacred bells against her forehead and fires his gun directly into it, shattering the mercury inside her skull. Screaming in agony, she stabbed once more more and dragged down into the ritual pool alongside Yak, who fights past her attempt to pull him under and finally kicks her back into the depths of hell for good. Climbing out, he confirms Dao has finally been sent back where she belongs, and Yakin's spirit, watching on, smiles peacefully before fading away. Rushing to Pan's side, Yak and the others gather around him as he succumbs to his wound, asking Yak with his final breath to look after his daughter. In the closing scene, Pan's daughter stands quietly in front of her father's photograph, eyes filled with tears, bringing the story to its emotional close.